Hello and welcome, my friends. Welcome to Friday, TGIF. I hope you've had a fantastic week and that you're enjoying the full sturgeon moon as it starts to peter out. We're going to see that over the next 24 hours-ish, that full moon energy is going to lose its intensity. So for today, we're going to look at next week. I really like to give you guys a couple of days to look at what's going to happen next week so you can plan forward. What are you going to need to help you? And what can you expect? How can you prep you forward? So today, we are going to look at, calendar please, there we go, August 14th through the 20th. We are entering into the middle of August. It's crazy, I know. However, we're there. And for those who are melting, I hear ya, it's hot. However, it's kind of heading west in North America, so I'm hoping to be less melty next week. Fingers crossed. I'm a spring, autumn girl. This winter, summer stuff is too intense for me. Okay, so for the decks I have chosen, this is one I haven't brought out in a long time. This is called the Neewer Tarot. It was a Kickstarter a couple years ago. It's very bold. They've bolded the colors of the Rider-Waite. And why they've called it the Neo-Rider, whereas Rider was the publisher, Waite was the creator, and then Coleman Smith was the artist. Oh, hey, Shauna. Yes, they're neck and neck, right? The colors of the autumn, the birth of the spring. Fantastic. I am matching it. This is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. Again, bold colors. I felt we needed this boldness this week. So let's get into this week. August 14th through the 20th. What can my friends expect for that week? Now, as I said, we are going to be seeing the full moon's intensity start to wane a bit as it heads into one of the crescents. It's going to be another week 2 weeks from now till we look at the new moon. Mercury doesn't go into retrograde until September, so we have a good week where it's kind of just a calm. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to need this calm. The Three of Swords. That pinchy, ouchy, heartache, and pain. We're going to need to be very calm and very mindful of ourselves. Next week's going to be a bit of a bear. Anytime we're starting off with the Three of Swords, we know it's going to be more challenging. So why I like to give you guys a couple of days. We don't need to dread it. We need to know it's there so we can start to get the tools and supports rolling on our behalf so it's not just a blinding crash. We have that time. We can start to use that frontal cortex and plan. Know next week we're going to have those challenges in play. So what's going to help you to minimize that heartache and pain? Things that can help. Amethyst. It's an easy crystal that most people have or can easily get a hold of because it's just the purple crystal. This is a very light amethyst. But amethyst helps with that calm. Also helps with our third eye so that we can see more clearly what's happening rather than being reactive, because that reactive state is what's really going to bring us to our knees. Another way I can help you out in my Archangel playlist, I have a healing that I did with Archangel Metatron where that's what we focused in on, was releasing that pain. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I give you guys the guidance and the support. I have 4 meditative playlists. I've got a mindfulness playlist. I've got 3 or 4 healing playlists. These are tools for you to use and reuse as you need. They are all guided and supported. So under my Archangel playlist, you will find that Metatron healing. It's a meditation that can help start to release some of that gunk. We don't want to relive it. We want to get rid of it. We don't need to re-traumatize ourselves. As we can see here, we've got enough going on. This is the 10 of Wands. 10s, they're about endings and beginnings. And right now we're kind of trudging through life, missing so much. We've got our head down. We're not being observant. We're not using our third eye. We're not using our frontal cortex. We're not using our tools and abilities. We're just trying to survive. And we're disconnecting from us. It's very evident with the Three of Swords that we're just kind of giving up. This week it's going to come kind of in your face and going, this isn't enough for you. We just can't survive or just try to get to the next day. We need that meaning. We need that fulfillment. That passion of the wand is going to support us in regaining that fulfillment. So along with that heartache, we really need to be balancing things out. What is it that you can get done? And what is it that other people need to be either A, supporting us on, or B, taking back for their own self? Many of us over the last, well, especially 3 years, we've taken on a lot of stuff for other people because they were really struggling. And it was probably the right thing to do at that time. However, we now need to relook at things. This week is going to be a lot of reflection and release. Relook at things. What can other people take back? And what is theirs? And for all my parenting friends out there, me included, parenting is one of those things that we usually feel like this because we are carrying our stuff and our kids' stuff. Yeah, Shauna, you're not alone. You're not alone, my friend. So it's going to be about taking some stuff off our plate, asking for the help that we need, and then also putting some intention in it. Rather than sitting in and wallowing in the woe is me, what can you do to rekindle that passion? No one can do it for you. I don't have a magic wand where I can go, poof, there you go. Because if I were to do that, you would miss out on those, that understanding. Because there's a learning point to this, especially this week. We need to break some patterns and start to create new ones that are going to be more meaningful and more fulfilling for you. You're the only one that can do it. I can tell you it's coming because if we don't break this, if we don't break the cycle of disconnection and heartache, the tower will come in because the universe, our high vibrational beings, our supports aren't going to let us just wallow and cycle. They're going to try and kick us out of it. And the tower always brings in extra pain, extra heartache. All right, so let's go into the beginning of the week. What can my friends expect from the beginning of the week? So the beginning of the week, you guys on Tuesday will get, it's a meditation I'm bringing out. So for those who are new here, Tuesdays I like to give you guys I call it like my Tuesday tool support. So whether it's a meditation, a healing, something. This week it's a meditation. It's into my short and sweet meditative playlist. So that means it's going to be under 10 minutes. And it's to inspire you, which I think really goes well with this, that inspiration, that connection. Oh, yes. You know how I said that there's going to be opportunities? I can tell you what's coming forward. This is the Four of Wands. It's a rite of passage card. I know it looks a little funny because they've got this celebration going on, and yet we're talking about pain and burden. This talks about that change, that shift. This talks about, it could be like a bar mitzvah, a wedding, that rite of passage. The beginning of the week, starting on Sunday, that is when we can start to take that rite of passage. Heck, you can start to build it up now. Do some reflection. What is causing this? Don't go into this is what happened and get into detail. You can start to look at, okay, so I'm holding pain in this section, this part. You don't want to trigger it. If that's too much, just say I'm holding pain. Okay? The 10, that's where we really need to do some reflection. What are we holding on to? What are we trying to achieve in a day? How can we rebalance things and get some more support? So for all my parenting friends, I know that I'm bad at this too. Asking your kids to help you out. I know, right? Because you know they're not going to do it the same way you do it. it could get messy. However, you're giving them back some accountability for them, and you're allowing them to grow. So let them make some mistakes. Let them grow. If it takes them longer to clean the bathroom or their bedroom or the whatever, vacuuming the floor, it's okay. They're doing it. At the same time, you can keep your eye out, but you can do something else too. Balance. So that rite of passage comes in right at the very beginning of the week. Again, it's an opportunity, guys. Without work, you can and will miss it, which will bring in the Tower. I love it. The Two of Cups. And I'm sorry for all my friends who are looking for a relationship. I'm not getting this. This is more a balance for you. No matter what gender you identify with, you both have masculine and feminine within you. This talks about that relationship and balance with self. The more we understand us, the more we're able to dump some of this, and we're able to get into that fulfillment, that connection. And we see the Four of Wands as that celebration, rather as, oh, I feel heavy, I feel gross, I don't have the energy to do what's meaningful for me. So at the beginning of the week, take some time. Start to look at other ways of doing things without breaking patterns. We just reinforce them, we teach them to others, and we start to feel even worse. Our spiritual, emotional, and physical self starts to tank. That's where you're going to see the Tower come in, whether it be in this week or in weeks to come. The universe will only allow so much time of stagnation before it steps in and goes, yeah, nope, done. Kicking you in the butt. All right. What about the middle of the week? What can my friends expect from the middle of the week? Okay. The Six of Coins is very important. Got it? Yep. Okay, we're going to talk about the one that really wanted out really importantly. This is the Six of Coins or the Six of Pentacles. This talks about balance, which really screams to the Ten of Wands. You can see he's giving this fellow money. And a lot of people, without knowing the lore behind this card, thinks he's ignoring this guy and choosing this guy opposed to balancing it out. This guy isn't asking for money. He's asking for support. So know that we are connecting in with people and helping them out, sometimes financially or with our resources. And sometimes just even emotionally, we're supporting them. That balance is going to be key, especially in the middle of the week, because we're going to feel that Ten of Wands really bearing us down. The middle of the week, we're going to feel this tip. This is when you need to spend some time balancing you, doing in some reflection. So if you know middle of the week, you've got a million things scheduled. So make sure that either you're asking for some help or you're starting to multitask. Be creative with how you're going to spend your resources. There are only 24 hours in the day. There's only so many things you can do before your physical energy burns up. Think of it as having an allowance of gas in your car. You can only go so far without taxing that car. It will start to go on fumes and it won't run. Same with us. Middle of the week, look at that. What's going to help you? Because you know where you're at right now. Don't be afraid to check in, possibly reschedule things, and ask for help. Talks about that balance. Because balance isn't just, I know they always have the scale as, ooh, balance. You're like, yeah, balance. We don't balance just two balls. It's not yes or no. It's like trying to balance a ball pit of balls because we've got our stuff, our parents' stuff, our friends' stuff, our kids' stuff, the dog, the cat, the goldfish, you name it. We're balancing it. So, no, it's not just it's just two things. It's not a problem. No. Historically, back when Pamela Coleman Smith drew these pictures, balance was easier. They didn't have as much. They weren't impacted by as much because they didn't have the internet. They weren't impacted by what was happening in the next village, let alone what's on the other side of the world. So know that it's a lot more than just balance. It's just the scale is the symbol of balance. The card I've been holding and flipping around is the Magician. The first card in the Major Arcana. Now, he's a powerful guy. He's the end all be all. He's the magician, right? He has connection to the divine universe, and he's drawing down that energy, and he's pointing it down where he wants it to go, to grow. Well, at the same time, he's using his everyday aspects, his tools to his advantage, and he has that abundance. He's got it all going on. Know that we have a tool set that's right in front of us. We just don't always access it because we're so overwhelmed, whether it be we're stuck in that pain of the past or the burdens and the fears of the future. We're trying to carry way too much. So this week is about trying to rebalance and use those tools, using your abilities, looking at what is happening and where it is you want to go. Without that reflection, without that understanding, you can't take a rite of passage because you're still going to be caught up in here. It's one thing to say, I want to do something. It's another thing to actually start to do it. And we don't need leaps of faith. We don't want to crash and burn. What we want to do is take it slow and steady. So how do we do that? Well, we take reflection. Okay, this is what I'm at. This is where I'm really feeling overwhelmed. Even that can be a step into the right direction. Asking for some help, which I know many of us struggle. I'm guilty of it all the time. I just would rather do it than bother somebody. So we all have our things, right? So making sure that we're doing what we need to do for us rather than carrying the village sticks to the village so that they can prosper. Yes, we want our friends and family to prosper, absolutely. However, they need to work on their stuff too. So taking it one step at a time. If you understand the problems, you're more able to use your abilities, your skills to start to decipher and create a solution that's meaningful for you. However, you can't do that if you're stuck here. Oh, sorry, Candace, I missed that. You're glad you booked vacation. Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope you're going somewhere nice. We're baking up here in Canada, in Alberta. So I hope that you are going to somewhere beautiful that has water. Know, though, that this is still going to be impacting you even when you get back. On a vacation's an awesome time to just do a little bit of, so this is where I'm at. What would help me out now? These opportunities will still be here. This gateway, this rite of passage is still there. You can just do a little bit of relaxation rather than in the trenches. The Queen of Swords. I love this queen. And I love that they kept a lot of the information that's on the card, the symbolism. If you look here, she has this kind of weird tassel thing here. And it's hard to see on this wrist, but she has another tassel. She's been bound. She's the queen that has learned all her knowledge, which is vast because she's the queen, through firsthand experience. She's hit every rock. She knows what she's talking about. You've been feeling it already? That's why I do it on Friday rather than on the weekend, so people have that ability to go forward with it. Because it's one thing to feel it, it's another thing to get going on it. So the Queen of Swords talks about taking these experiences, taking what you're dealing with and moving on it. Not wallowing in it, not doing that pity party. Like I said, those bindings, she's hurt, like she's been through the ringer. Yet she doesn't go to that reactive space. She goes to that processing space. This is what's happened. I need to do X, Y, and Z to get out of it. I need to break those patterns. I need to learn. She's the wand, or the sword. She's very Vulcan. So anytime you see the court cards, think Vulcan, especially in the swords. Okay? Now, this stuff, the challenge we have as a species with the swords, these swords don't have emotion. There's information. It's like saying, well, my cup is white. That's information. It's not, there's no emotion to it. We're emotional beings. We're supposed to be emotional beings. It's taking those emotions and dealing with it. Because the situations, those events that cause this pain, they have something to teach us. It's that knowledge that we need rather than getting caught up in that sad, that heartache. I know it's so much easier said than done, but it is something that we need to be looking at. In the middle of the week, we're going to feel it. We don't want to get into that reactive pity party. We want to shift gears and shift out of it. All right. What about the end of the week? What can my friends expect from the end of the week? So the end of the week, of course, you get your, we'll be back again doing another reading. But know that this is going to go on for a while. This stuff isn't going to go away as of next Saturday. It's stuff that we're going to be working on. It's introducing you to information and stuff that we need to start to step away from, work on. We're not looking at leaps of faith. I don't do leaps of faith because you're unstable and you have a tendency to regress, causing yourself even more heartache, pain, and burden. The King of Cups. So, like the Queen, kings, well, they have the most control over their suit. They have the most power. They have the most fully developed personality. So the cup talks about emotion and intuition. At the end of the week, and this is going to be a hard week, guys, because we're starting off with the Three of Swords. Know that you need to have that control over your emotion. You can't be reactive. If you are reactive, this is only going to amplify and it's going to explode on you. That pain, that burden, you're just going to feel it heavy, especially across the neck and shoulders. Okay, causing headaches, causing physical fatigue, just causing all over global blah. The more control we are with how we're reacting, because that's the one thing we can control is us. We can control our breath, our response, and how we react. The King of Cups talks about taking that control. And yes, you can preempt yourself. So if you know you're going into a situation that's hard or challenging and there's a lot of mixed emotions or tension. So this is, not tourmaline, Jennifer. Oh my God, just a second. I just blanked on it. But it's one of my new favorites, actually, and I keep forgetting because it's a block that I need. 1 second here. Labradite. I've been using it a lot lately. And this is a brown labradite. It can almost look kind of silvery gray. It helps with trauma. It helps with stability and protection. Fantastic. You can also keep yourself very well grounded with something like this. This is, of course, Tiger Iron. IRON, that adds in the red jasper. It's got black obsidian and then also the tiger eye. So really supporting you. Again, it goes back to that magician, your tools at hand. If you're going into a situation and you don't think it was going to be as impactful as it was, what I'd like you to do is go to a running faucet or some sort of source of water. Run your hands, or if you happen to be by like a stream or something, walk in it, because our hands and our feet will naturally release the prickles, the fear, the tension. Water is an amazing releasing element. It helps with that clearing out. And usually where we go, there's usually a bathroom or a kitchen, or depending on holidays, running water. And know that it's okay. You will not harm that source of water. It would be transmuted by your guardian angel because they're knowing what you're doing. So taking that control. You can also look at if you're having a hard day, or you're going to go into something that's energetically very tension provoking or challenging. I have a protection meditation in my Just You and Me playlist where we start to wrap you in the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and then also Archangel Michael to really help with that protection from that energy bunk. Yes, labradorite is amazing, and I have a trigger to it because of past trauma in past lives. So I always want to call it black tourmaline because it's easier for my brain to wrap around, but it is labradorite. The final card, the Page of Pentacles. This reminds you of that grounded stability energy that we're going to need, especially as we round off this week. However, as he's looking forward into the next week, we want that exploration. We want that inquisical energy to help guide us and move us forward in a positive way, taking this rite of passage to something that's meaningful rather than heading us back here. The more we're open to the playful, fun exploration that the inner child brings, the more we're going to get out of the following weeks. We're going to start to break those patterns and shift our gears. This is a slow, positive shift that can be easily maintained because it's stable. We're not looking at jumping off a cliff here. We're looking at shifting gears and turning ever so slightly. Even with small shifts, small steps, you start to make amazing progress, even if you know it or not. That's why reflection is so important. I've been working with people and they're like, you know what, until you told me to look back at the last 3 months on what I've done and where I was at, I had no idea. It's part of this week is to understanding you, working with you, so that it's not so much of a balancing. It becomes that full magician, that full energy. All right, let's go into what further supports and guidance will help my friends embrace the week to come so that they can degunk and shift gears. The one thing I can say about this Oracle deck, because a lot of times the Oracle decks are really hard to shuffle, this deck is about the same size. It's, if you have small hands, they're the same. Or well, actually it's a little bit shorter than the tarot card. I struggle with big decks sometimes. Renewal. Even though this week is full of the pain and challenges, this week offers you those opportunities to renew, to rejuvenate. Renewal connects in with our root chakra, which is our stabilizing foundational chakra. And that's very much what's going to happen. We're going to restabilize and rejuvenate that root chakra, bringing in that fulfillment because we have the stability of our root. Yes. Self-worth. We're kicking up into the second chakra of the sacral. So the borders that are around these cards connect into the different 7 chakras. Self-worth talks about understanding of self and finding value, meaning, and fulfillment. There's many of us who struggle to feel like we're worthy of it. Oh, well, I don't need that because other people may need it more. I can't take that. That's just too much. We don't put value to us. We'll take everyone else's burdens, but we won't allow them to support us with what we're dealing with. That self-worth is very important. It goes, well, it's even beyond that self-love. It's putting you as a worthy individual of love, opening you up to the amazing abundance, those opportunities, that love that is there. Many times we shut down or turn away from it because we don't feel like we're worthy. It goes back to that Three of Swords, that self-worth. We're going to see that shift. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot. A little shifting goes a long way. Are we going to be able to remove all these swords this week? No. No. You will feel vulnerable and you will crash and burn. It's just like if you take stitches out too quick from a big wound, what's going to happen? You're going to start to bleed again and you could bleed out. Same thing here. Too much and you feel vulnerable and you're re-stabbing yourself. Everything triggers you. So take it slow and steady. That way it's going to be easier to maintain. You're not falling backwards. Yes. Bittersweet. This talks about your throat chakra. Will this be challenging? Absolutely. Why? There is stability in what we have. We may not like it, but there is a false stability because we've grown accustomed to it. Will it be hard to release? Yes. That's why I want you to take it slow and steady, because the faster we try and do it, the more damage we can do to us. Will it be great when we start to release it? Absolutely, because we're going to be able to feel stronger. So it does have that bittersweet. That reconnection with self will also support us with being able to speak truthfully to ourselves and to others, because we'll have a better understanding. We just won't have that breakdown and shutdown of, I can't do this anymore. You can say, look, you know what? I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Can you please help me with Q and R? You can make it a game with your kids. You can get support in. There's ways of doing it. And if your family and friends aren't able, what community supports are there? There's always help should we look for it. We just need to know how to ask. And again, use our words. I always hate doing these readings when we pull out, like the first card is Three of Swords. It's not always the greatest week. However, we did not pull the Tower. You guys are still in control of this week, which means you have the ability to shift out of it, to embrace the Magician, to embrace the Two of Cups, so that we start to release some of this. I want to thank you so very much. Oh, sorry, Sean, I missed that. Yeah, no, I'm not calling anybody out, my friend. It's something many of us deal with, many of us, and we will deal with it for an ongoing basis. Because that's why the cards are there, like the self-worth card. It's in the deck. This deck, I think, was created about 10 years ago. Yeah, it's just stuff that we, especially as women and moms, that we hold on to. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I hope it did help give you some light into some of the challenges you'll see next week. Not every week will be like this. You're welcome, Candace. I'm glad it helped. And I enjoy people coming in live. If you can't watch it later, that's fantastic. You can always leave comments below. I get back to everyone that I can. Actually, I get back to all of them. I won't lie. I'm a nerd. I'm like, yay, let's talk to you. But I want to thank everyone for joining me. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other people find me on the sea of YouTube, because it's a big sea. I won't lie. More importantly, if you haven't, subscribe and hit the bell, because I am live. Yes, Tuesdays and Thursdays I post. However, I post frequently. Like 2 days ago, I was doing the full Sturgeon Moon reading. So I'm frequently on here. It's 2+ readings a day, or 2+ videos a week. So best important thing for you guys, subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell so you know when I am live or I've posted. And if you want even further support, I do have a Patreon page where I add in even more supports. I've provided a link below, so why not go check it out? Again, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Until tomorrow, my friends.